This is the Hype Squad with Charli McConnell, a podcast where women can be full of themselves and brag about what they're good at. Each week, we're going to bring you conversations covering topics like motherhood, life, relationships, business, and everything in between, because anything is possible with your very own Hype Squad. You're the cutest. What's up, ladies? Welcome back to the Hype Squad. We're doing a little different today. We're just going to gab. We were sitting at the table earlier and we were talking about stuff that's like real shit. And I was like, pause, let's go record this conversation. So let's just pick up where we were before. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being on the podcast, Jasmine and Rachel, the HBICs of CMCO. Okay, we were talking about filler and Botox and stuff like that. So let's go back to what you were saying about the Love Island girls and your perception of them being so young and all the work they had done.
So if you watch Love Island UK, not USA, but UK specifically this year, they like unveiled the cast photos. Most of the girls, I think one of them was definitely like 21 years old, like me. And then I think the oldest girl was like maybe 27. They all looked like they were like in their 30s. And I remember like they got a bunch of flack from people online about filler and stuff like that. But I thought it was really interesting because I've never seen filler in person or like unedited, I guess, if that
Like
makes more
face
sense.
filler, lip filler, or all of it?
All of it.
Yeah.
I saw lip filler for the first time in person a couple of months ago, but face filler specifically, like I'm not even talking about like just like, a little bit of Botox, because I think a lot of people have a little bit of Botox and you can't really tell. I'm talking about like cheek filler, jaw filler, like that type of thing. I had never seen that before. So it was like the cast photos were one thing, but I watched the first episode and I was like, oh my gosh, like it looks just totally different. So I don't know. I guess it just kind of made me reflect on like social media versus actual reality. And I think that's a really interesting conversation.
So let's pause for a second and say your ages so everyone knows like where we're all coming from. So Rachel is
about to turn 26.
I am freshly 22.
And I'm 37. So we have like varying perspectives of this for sure. I love that you brought up social media because I feel like it's the filters. Like I feel like the girls are trying to look in real life just like what the filters look like. Don't you think? Like the lips and the cheek contour and all of that stuff. But you guys have grown up with filters your entire life. So, and neither one of you've kind of dabbled maybe with some Botox, right? And you've never seen or done any of it.
No.
And I didn't start Botox until 3 years ago. And I've only done Botox. Like filler freaks me out. Like, and I did used to want lips. We were talking about this at the table earlier. And I messed up when I told my husband I wanted to get my lips done. And when he thinks of lip filler, he thinks of the girls you're talking about, like the huge blown up lips that look so distorted and not like real. And I was telling my esthetician that, and she said, it doesn't have to be like that. Like that's the other end of the spectrum. Like there are tons of people walking around with filler that you can't tell, but it's those people with overfilled. And to me, that's their doctors, their injectors that are doing way too much. At least I would assume. I mean, I guess if they're like demanding it, that's a different
They're
story.
just not telling them no. Yeah.
But like, how many of your friends, do any of your friends, either one of you have fillers or Botox at the ages that you're at now?
None of my friends have it, but almost every single friend I have wants something done.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, okay, I want my lips done, I want my boobs done. Like I will say I don't have a single friend who has anything done, but if money weren't a problem and they like had the resources and could just go do it, they would absolutely do it tomorrow.
It's a long wish list. What about you?
I have a couple of friends who have had small doses of like lip filler.
Did they like it?
Botox.
How did it look on them?
They liked it. Yeah. But it doesn't last very long.
It's also stupid expensive. Like I thought it would be equivalent to Botox.
Yeah.
And Botox is manageable. Like if you're just getting a couple of units here and there, like a couple of $100, like not a huge deal. Filler is very different. And when I got my first quote, I was like, no, thank you. I cannot. I can't even justify that. But do you think it's all social media? Do you think it's like reality shows and stuff like that?
I think it's a mixture of both. Because if you think about it, like the Kardashians, like I don't know if you saw everything happening with Kylie, where now
Mm-hmm.
she's like, what, 25? Maybe.
She might.
She's probably around there. Yeah.
She's around Rachel's age, and now because she got everything done when she was like freshly 18,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Like lips, boobs, jaw, like she got everything done. And now that
Supposedly.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
sorry, allegedly. She allegedly got everything done, and now I've noticed that as she's aged, it kind of seems like either A, you've established a standard that you can't keep up with, or B, you got it. But if you think about it, you got it before what? Like you even
Before it
hit
was necessary.
before it was necessary, and you're freshly 18. You go
Mhm.
through a second puberty during your 20s or something, right? So like I think before there was social media, there were like celebrities and stuff like that. And beauty standards
Mhm.
have always been a thing. But I think now the visibility of them, I think, is just way different, if that makes sense.
I saw this thing the other day where this girl was talking about filler specifically, and she was saying how filler is designed for 40-year-olds who
Mhm.
who have lost the filling in their own face and they
Mhm.
want to look like they're 30 and have that back. But all these 20-year-old people getting filler, they're filling like turning into pillow
Change their
face.
their face. They're changing their
Yeah.
face, right? Instead of like someone in their 40s trying to look more like she did in her 20s, like the Kylie, like, and we have no idea what all Kylie Jenner had done, just as an example, but she looks very different than she looked
Mhm.
as a kid. And so, she did something, but it's like kind of what you were saying, Jasmine. She looks like that now, and now she has to stay looking like that because how
Yeah.
does that version age?
Yeah.
And it's like now she has to maintain it, but also she
Mhm.
doesn't look her age. She looks a lot
Yeah.
older. When
She
the whole
does.
goal used to be to look younger, now it's like, are you trying to look older?
Mhm.
And you were showing me the pictures of the Love Island girls,
Mhm.
and they look, I haven't watched that season, but they
Mhm.
look much older than they
Well,
actually
they
are.
all look much older, and I think it's something else where it's like you can't really even tell everything that they've had done.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten to the point where it's become so normalized that you have like an entire side of TikTok where you have plastic surgeons just saying what
Picking
people
it
have
apart.
done
Yeah.
because it's like most people can't tell.
Like detective work.
Yeah, but it's like for some girls, I think also it's a perception thing because I can look at someone and be like, okay, she had her lips done. But it's like, no, like she had her lips done, she had her chin done, she had a bunch of fillers, she has veneers, and like veneers are a totally different thing now too. I
That's a
think
good
just
point.
the amount of stuff is insane. That's what I've noticed
Or
at
the
least.
fat pockets that people remove. I'm like,
There's
you
like a
can't put those
threading
back.
thing you can do now, which I don't know how invasive it is. I have a friend that did it and she spoke really highly about it. But like that, there's so many things. And like at this point, the episode with Cersei has come out. And so we talked about trends with young girls and you were talking about Botox in your 20s. And I can remember people saying to me, maybe my like mid to late 20s, go ahead and start doing it now so you don't get these deep creases. Well, I wasn't going to pay money for Botox. I couldn't justify it at that age, nor did I think it was important. But people were already giving me that message 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So is that message coming to you guys in your early 20s or in college to go ahead and start Botox now?
I think so. If you look at like social media creators, because like I know everyone talks about self-care, but I saw some girl's maintenance day, she was like 23. It's like, okay, she did the normal stuff like her nails and her lashes and then her hair, but she also got baby Botox, she got filler. When did stuff like that become like very normalized maintenance stuff that people are just getting all the time?
What
That's
is
my question.
baby Botox?
That's what they advertise it as instead of just
Smaller
saying
doses.
it's
Yeah.
smaller doses of
Starting
it's like
early.
preventative Botox
Mhm.
basically. So I think it's one of those like I guess I don't know what you call them like special terms basically so that you're not telling a bunch of 23-year-olds to go get Botox. You say baby Botox.
Because that
So
makes it more
that makes it more like
accessible.
I guess palatable where it's like you're not getting huge doses, you're just getting baby preventative Botox or like the anti-wrinkle straws. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
I've said them.
horizontal straws that you drink out of instead of like a regular vertical straw so that you don't get smile lines.
So you
Mhm.
did, and I don't, we talked about it,
It
but
was when you
yeah.
wanted your lip flip, and I was saying it's difficult to drink out of a straw when you have a lip flip. So they have these other straws that you can use.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I was saying this at the table, I only wanted to get like filler in my top lip. I wanted my lips to be a little bit more symmetrical size wise. And so my esthetician or her mom that does the injectables said to do like a lip flip, which is Botox, not filler. And I still haven't done it because I messed around and told Colby that I wanted to do it. And I broke my cardinal rule, which was ask for forgiveness, not permission. And so, and I was telling this story too. At some point after I told him about that, I ate something that I had an allergic reaction to, and my lips swole up for the first time in my life. Also, it was kind of cool because I'm like, this is what it would be like. And Colby said, "Did you get filler? You did, didn't you?" And I'm like, "I swear I didn't. And if I did, I would have fessed up to it. But how do they look?" Like,
Should I?
and it was not ideal because it was like a true allergic reaction. It was not what it would look like. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's so many things out there that is like look better, look different. Um, Eyebrows was a huge thing, like microblading your eyebrows to make your eyebrows different and stuff like that. And it's like the skincare stuff, like, yeah, wear more sunscreen, then you won't have as many wrinkles. But nobody's talking about that. They just want you to shoot stuff in your face. And I love Botox. I do. I get it every so often, and I like the way it look. I get it in my forehead, but outside of that, like, and I'm not knocking anybody who does any of this stuff. I love all that stuff, and more power to you. I think it's bizarre that at your ages, when you shouldn't be worried about any of that stuff, to already be thinking like your friends already having a wish list. If they had the money, they would spend it on these things. Yeah. What do your moms think about the trend?
My mom hates it. Like, so actually, when I went home right before I started here, I was in the car with my mom, and I look exactly like my mother. Like, I'm her twin. And she was looking at me, like, just staring at me. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Would you ever get anything done?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want this, this, and this done." And she literally looked at me and she's like, "Please don't. Like, you're gonna ruin your face."
Mm,
She was like, she's like, "I think that you look so nice. You have such nice features and yada yada yada." And of course, she's my mom, so
Yeah.
she feels like that. But she's like, "I just feel like you look so nice the way that you are, and it's just totally unnecessary." Because like my mom grew up in like the 90s and 80s. None of that stuff was super popular unless I guess you were like in Hollywood. But my mom is like super against it. I told her that I wanted like the teeniest amount of lip filler, and she doesn't like
okay,
it.
but to be fair, you said that to me earlier, and I was like, absolutely not. You have great lips. Why would you do that? And I do think that even it's your mom, obviously, and she made you, and of course, she thinks that you're perfect, and so she's gonna push you to have like self positivity in most cases, right? Not everyone's mom is like that, but I did the same thing, right? And it's like sometimes people want things because they think they see an imperfection where no one else sees it, right? And Cersei and I talked about on that episode the filters. Like when I look at a like self-facing filter, like not without a filter, I'm like, holy shit, does my face like the sun damage and the splotchiness? Like I feel like I can't even look at myself on it without a filter because I'm like, that's not what I look like in the mirror. Like I swear to God, that's not what I look like when I left the house. So, like which one's deceiving me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But, and I brought this up with Cersei. I did a practice with a client of mine, and we were having the same conversation. And we went in the bathroom and we looked in the mirror and we looked at the selfie. And I'm like, look at my face here and look at my face here. Like on me, I don't look like this. The skin doesn't look the same. And then she brought up hers and did the same thing. And so it was eye opening because it is seeing stuff that the naked eye does not
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it's wild. It really, really is.
I think it's sad, really. Like, I think I was talking to Rachel earlier, like, our nieces are around the same age. My niece just turned 4, and I look at her, I think she's the prettiest little girl in the world. I don't want her getting to my age and thinking, I need to do A through Z in order to look like this. Like, even if you think about it with social media, like, we grew up with social media kind of, but like, these kids these days, even if you look at the kids who are like 13, they don't look 13. They don't go through awkward phases. Like, I didn't do skincare when I was 13. I was awkward and I was like, I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted, and I feel like now it concerns me the amount of social pressures, I guess, that are being pushed towards everyone, if that makes sense.
And I would say the same thing about you guys compared to my childhood, although like I didn't have social media like you guys had in your youth. And of course it's even worse now. But I love the little memes of like making home videos with your friends looks like this now, which is
Mm-hmm.
TikTok and filters and everything. And when I was a kid, it was
The
like
most embarrassing.
Yeah.
crazy differences,
Mhm.
right? And you look young, you look
Yes.
innocent, like you don't look like you're and I mean when I was 14 and 15, I didn't really look 14 and 15 either, right? So I can say that too. Like I didn't look young. And I think sometimes as I've gotten older, I forget that, right? Like I also had that even 20 years ago where
Mhm.
I looked a little bit older. I think now it happens a lot sooner, right?
Yeah.
But even like when Cersei and I were talking about it, her kids are seeing their parent, her mom do
Mhm.
this, right? And so, your mom's age, for me, I remember Lisa Rinna, and if you guys watched Housewives,
I know
she was on
exactly
Days
what
of
you're
Our
talking about.
Lives. She did you watch Housewives?
No.
She was the first person I remember like in uh like TV and stuff that had really big lips. And maybe
Mhm.
they started kind of naturally and she kept them up. Who knows? Who cares? But it was like she was the one with big lips and everyone knew her like that. And it was
Mhm.
like, yeah, you don't really want them, but that's her thing, right? Well, now
Mhm.
it's like everybody has them,
Yeah.
right? And I don't, and even I fall prey to it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I want big
Yeah.
juicy lips. They look so
Mhm.
good with all the lipstick and
Well,
all
I
the stuff.
kind of feel bad because it seems like features are going in and out of style. And I think that's what makes me feel bad is like the whole BBL thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, all of these girls who got BBLs are coming out and saying, yeah, this was like the worst decision of my life.
That's the butt, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
butt lift,
Yeah.
big
And it's like,
Brazilian lift or something.
yeah, it's like they basically take the fat out of your stomach and put it into your butt. And then like fill out your hips and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if you've ever seen the girls who look like Mrs. Incredible, like the mom from The
Yeah.
Incredibles
Oh yeah.
in
And
person,
their thighs are like this big and their ass is like
or
this
if you
big.
walk through the Atlanta airport
Mm-hmm.
once, go to Miami, go to any of these major cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it was also kind of shocking to see stuff like that in person because I'm from Maryland. Maryland's like the most diverse state ever. And then natural everything is really big in Maryland.
Mm.
Natural hair, there aren't a lot of people who get surgery. Like that's big in Virginia, but coming down here was the first time I felt like stuff like that was pushed on me.
Really?
Yeah, like none of the girls who I knew in high school like wanted bigger lips. Everybody was fine with the way that they were and like I don't know if that has something to do with like the way that I grew up or something like that, but it wasn't until I got down here and got to college specifically where I saw like 19-year-old girls getting lip filler. And then like even like the whole spray tan thing, people don't spray tan in Maryland like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it wasn't until I moved down here where I was looking at a tanology membership. Because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not tan enough. Like my hair isn't long enough. You know what I mean? It's just it's
Mm-hmm.
also regional too.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because every region you go to, like you said, is like a different ideal, like even countries, right?
Yeah.
Decades. Like it's all like, and the Kardashians changed a lot of things
Mhm.
across the board, and they definitely did what they sought out to do, but like they
Mhm.
changed body types. So like the small waist and big butt became the trend and it's still kind of the trend. Um the eyebrows and the eye makeup and the tanning, the dark tanning,
Mhm.
having the contour and all of those things, but also like girls wanting to be business owners and have their own shit
Yeah.
like all at the same time. I do feel like it definitely started a phenomenon because there were so many women in that family who all
Mhm.
had such versatile things that they were working towards while also having this fashion and this body
Mhm.
style and all of these things. And they're relatable,
Mhm.
bits and pieces, maybe not everything, but they come off as really relatable. But I do think that they changed the style. And then Kylie, those lips, girl, I feel like those lips, that's when I feel like everything shifted. And I can
Yeah.
remember, oh God, I mean, maybe you were here at the time, but there was this uh, social media person, I don't know, but she was doing like funny memes about the lips and she was taking like rubber bands and putting them and like making them swell. And she's like, look, I just overlined my lips. Cause that was the thing she used to always say before she admitted to getting filler. And it's like, I've overlined my lips for an hour and a half and they still don't look like those. Like, what am I doing wrong? It's wild. It's really wild. Do you have stuff on your wish list that you would want to get done, Rachel?
I mean, I definitely want Botox in my forehead
Mm-hmm.
currently. And I wanted to get my boobs done at one point. I don't know if health wise it's a good idea because your body can reject them and all. And I feel like mine would be the one to do it.
It's definitely trendier now to have them removed and to not get
Yeah.
them, which I don't think is a bad thing. Why do you want Botox?
Just I'm developing the deep lines in my forehead that don't go away when I stop squinting or stop.
That was it
Doing
for
this,
me.
yeah.
I had the 11s line or whatever they call it, that my makeup would settle into the crease even when I wasn't making a facial expression. And so at the end of the day, you know, where your makeup gets kind of cakey and it's like settling, it would settle there. And I would have to go and like, and that's when I was like, okay, now I need to try to like make this go away.
I want my mom to learn how to do it 'cause she's an OBGYN and she can and she should. Ellen.
You
hear that?
strictly told me not to talk to Ellen anymore on here.
That's true.
So I can't talk to Ellen. Ellen, hey.
Well, Ellen should learn how to do Botox so that I can have it for free. Thank you.
And me.
Yeah.
All of
Little
us.
Botox party.
A neighborhood party. Yeah.
But she hates all that. My mom doesn't wear makeup or anything, so she never understands
Natural queen.
when I do
know.
makeup or anything. She's gotten Botox a couple times, but she's like, I can't make my expressions. Like, how do you know how I feel?
You'll tell me. I trust that you'll tell me. Has your mom gotten any work done?
No.
So she's like, in her own right, does
100
not want to have anything to do with it.
100% natural.
Good for her.
The only thing that she does is like dye her hair.
Yeah.
But honestly, my mom turned 50. The woman does not look 50. Like, I wish I had a picture of her. She does not look 50 at all. And it's crazy because I see it with her where she thinks that she has really bad wrinkles. I'm like, I didn't see any wrinkles on you, like genuinely.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. How we are all our own worst critic. You're even correcting your mom.
Yeah.
But then noticing that she's correcting you, like that's the natural thing to do is like, you don't need that. You look great. I said something yesterday, Rachel, where I was like, Colby's so cute. And you were like, y'all are both so cute. Like, it's like we have this innate need to like correct, like yourself more, like yourself more. Meanwhile, we're not doing it for ourselves, right? It's such an interesting thing to like witness when you like zoom out. It's like you just need to say it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it's terrible to watch it with young kids. You know how I told you about my niece who was struggling, who was the same age as Sailor, and Sailor would never, thankfully, think the way that she was thinking. But my niece was saying all these terrible things about herself, like saying that she thinks she's ugly and that she doesn't think she's pretty, and she's 7 years old and she's got all this, and she compares herself to her friends, and
It's
the boys are
heartbreaking.
mean, but it's sad that it starts that young.
Well, and I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's what you say around them or what they're exposed to or the friends that they hang out with and what those friends are exposed to. It's like you can only control so much. And who's to say that like her upbringing is any different than Sailor's? Maybe the people she's around at school are much different, or maybe she's just more susceptible to it.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know. And then it's like, how do you pull back from that? Because once that thought process is in there, it is really hard, if not impossible, to rewrite that script.
It's always somewhere in there, even if you can get over it. The little voice is going to be there forever.
Yeah.
It's like Sailor saying, like, do you think my friends are going to like this outfit? And I'm like, screw your friends. You like it? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's all you need. And now it's like, well, my teacher like it. And I'm like, do you like it?
Yeah.
And so it's like,
she does that with you too. She's like, do you think my mom will be proud of me for this? I'm like, you could do literally anything and your mom's gonna be proud of you. Literally anything.
I'm dying. Oh my God. But we have like this inner need to please people. right? And I hear it all the time with clients, like, I don't want to be a people pleaser, or it's people pleasing, and I'm not. We're all people pleasers. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just it, unless it is like at your own detriment. Like if you're putting yourself last to like put everyone before you, that's when it becomes really like a negative feature. But we're people pleasers from the get-go. Like we want our parents to show up for us. We want them to love us and have affection and be proud of us, because it's fulfillment, like on a whole nother level. And so we do a lot of stuff for other people. I feel like the outliers are the people who don't give a shit and maybe kind of sociopaths, right? Like it's an interesting thing to think about. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, we can wrap up here or we can keep talking about TikTok stuff. Do you guys want to do a hype list?
What did we talk about earlier? What was our hype list?
We can't.
Oh, we can't
reuse
well, that
it
wasn't a
because we
real
might use
episode.
that later.
What's my hype list? Rachel, what's yours?
My hype list, well, my achievement and overcoming it has been doing the things I want to do regardless of like other people's opinions on it. So like when I got my tattoos, I love my tattoos. My family hates them, and I overcame that by just not caring.
Doing
'cause
it.
I love them. And
Yeah.
my piercings and all that stuff. So that's mine.
That's a good one.
I would say mine, piggybacking off of the conversation that we're having, I went the whole summer like 100% natural. Like curly hair, no nails, no lashes. Like the way that I looked my first day was the way that I looked like most of the summer, I think. And I've like never done that before. 9 times out of 10, I always have nails done, lashes done, hair done, something. And this was like the first time I've done that. So I think that was my little accomplishment for myself.
Yeah.
Did it feel good?
It was different. I think I had to get reused to my face. Like I went to go to lunch with one of my sorority sisters and she was just staring at me because she had never seen me with like no lashes, no nails. And she's like, why were you making it a big deal? She was like, you look so like nice and fresh faced and stuff like that. And she thought that I looked adorable, but of course me, I was like, ew, I look gross. I look like a boy. So I think it was just something where it was like, eventually it did get to the point where I liked it. But at first it was really like not my favorite thing. But that was the obstacle I overcame.
I love it. That was great.
You looked hot then and you look hot now.
Yes. But now we're career bitches.
Oh yeah.
And so we're, shifting into a new chapter. So that's exciting. This was great. Thanks, girls. Thanks for coming in and hyped with me, talking shit with me. I love it. All right. Thanks for being here and listening, and be kind to yourselves. Deuces.